Hello everybody, Average Gamer here, welcome to a special little video. So, this game just got, well, not announced, but, I just found out about it. Some people sent me, some comments and things like that, telling me I need to look into, a game called World Warfare and Economic. Apparently there's a translation thing going on. The developer is Israeli. So obviously English is not the first language, I'm assuming, because World Warfare and Economics, S there, would definitely sound a lot better. But yeah, other than that, we're going to look at this for the first time. I haven't looked at anything. A few people have told me to take a look at this, and I thought, well, why don't we do this together and kind of see what's going on? So this is going to be muted, obviously, because, you know, copyright strikes and stuff like that. But we're going to watch the trailer and see how it goes here. A minute 52 long. The simulator aiming to come countries' economic management and real-time battles. So before I even actually get further in, so this is supposed to be a competitor, I guess, to Superpower 3, Power Revolution, insert year, and I guess the Supreme Rulers series as well, to a lesser extent. But it only has one person making it, so we'll see. We'll have to see, because it's definitely going to be not cringy. That's not the word I want to use. It will need polish. We'll say that, because a lot of videos obviously are probably going to be like pre-alpha builds and things like that. So, anyways, here we go. Playing a real interactive world with more than 4,000 regions. Okay, so actually, I'm going to watch this first and then go through it. Okay. Okay. Interesting. Your country. Your rules. Linux, Windows, and Mac OS. Okay, so first things I want to mention. Figure where in the world that is. Japan, maybe? Tokyo, Kyoto, going up here, Hokkaido. That, well, maybe. Ignore some of this. This is my YouTube stuff. But yeah, so let's watch this back again. It's a little slower this time with pausing and me kind of reacting to it. So we'll ignore this part. So play with an interactive world with more than 4,000 regions. So I'm assuming, as you can see the person going over, you can see that it's highlighting different areas. So I'm assuming just like provinces in Power Revolution work, you can probably select them and maybe do things like independence for certain ones and things like that, maybe. Interesting. Control one of 220 countries available. How many countries are in the world right now? Whoops. How many? It's 2021. All right, so there's 200. So there are currently 195 countries recognized. So countries that are classified as special sovereignties or autonomous regions are not enlisted. Certain islands are not included. Taiwan, because China's a douchebag. And then basically no country registered. You have to basically be recognized in the UN. So some of the regions in here are obviously places that are not like seen as real countries, probably. So like Taiwan, Holy See, probably like Gaza Strip, aka Palestine. Something like that, because I think technically, if you look at the countries around the world, there's 249 technically autonomous regions around the world. So that includes like places I just mentioned, like Liechtenstein, Andorra, and all that stuff as well. Because Andorra's here. Yeah, Andorra's here. Like this is a weird. Like Brazil's not there. Like FGH. Something about this doesn't make sense. It goes from Afghanistan to Syria, North Korea, Canada, China. I'm assuming there is maybe in the settings over here a filter. So this little radial menu here can control every sector of your economy. I'm going to assume you can hit a button, you hover over it, you click it, it opens up one of the next pages, and there you can tweak and modify things. And this is actually a good look here at the moment of the UI. Political map, diplomacy map, whatever. Special region, or show regions, yes or no. Notifications, maybe. Construction, research, mail. Kingdom, here we go. You got your treasury. How much? Wow, I'm assuming that goes down to like the actual dollar. So you got 292 billion in your treasury, but you have a negative 515 billion. I like that because you can actually physically see. You know, it would be good if there's like a green or red up or down arrow. That'd be nice. You get all your time stuff over there. Global events, organization objectives. So probably certain groups that you join will probably have certain objectives around the world. Cool. Budget, resources, diplomacy, military, and sectors. Okay. We'll read this up. Each sector has its own unique facilities and laws. So built. Okay. So here you probably click on it. It opens up a submenu. Oh, wait. Whoa, what was that? That was pretty quick. So this did the person click on... That was really fast. So we have healthcare selected here. So how many ICU beds there's? Mental beds? Mental... Okay, I think I understand what that means. Hospitalization beds, overall sick population. So this person obviously didn't select housing, but selected probably health, which then open up this screen here. So you can check your manpower. So I'm assuming that's where you can change and modify like wages and things like that. This shows you how many you've built. So you can probably select these, whoops, and actually build what you want. Then over here, then they then selected laws. There you go. So you get to pick your options and then go from there, obviously. So like health insurance policies. Apparently it's active. I'm assuming you can click on it and it changes what it is. So here it shows like they select water, for example, in the resource option. So raw materials for the gross domestic product is this much. Goods is this much. Overall GDP is this. They're importing this much. You're exporting that much. I like that. Raw materials in deficit shows you you're in 9 materials deficit. I'm going to assume it's going to show available over here where you can do it. And then goods in deficit. So you're technically 3 goods in deficit. Okay, cool. So it shows you how much you import and export. So you can probably go to like the specific. It'd be interesting if you can select this, and it will show you what specific resource you're lacking, which would be nice. Oh, and then earlier I pointed at these down here. So let's let the water. So it shows how much you're producing, how much you're consuming, how much you're importing, how much you're exporting, and your tax on it. Then it shows how much you subsidize. So, government subsidization, $0 billion. Overall production, which we already know, import, export, available is interesting. So I'm assuming, because this is -4, if I grab a calculator here real quick and look. So if your production is 446,500, you minus your consumption of, whoops, of 451,024, 40, perfect. So you have negative available. Okay, because I was thinking as there's water, it will show you how much is available to tap in the country. But no, they're showing you how much is available right now. So you can actually see if you're in the negative or the positive for the resource. I like that. Because the Power Revolution one, to me, it's always feeling dubious. Like it shows you have a surplus, you produce more than you consume, but then it's like, but you're still importing it. It's like, well, am I importing it because of what I'm producing and what I'm importing? And then why am I importing if I'm producing? Like that doesn't, yeah, it's weird. And here it shows how much you're also subsidized in total, which is nice. So you can actually hit build and obviously build a water pump. I'm assuming it just builds it and on the, in the back end. It would be nice if you clicked build, it told you how much it will pump. So they clicked build there, and it shows how much it's going to cost, how many builders you need, how many engineers you need, and when it's going to finish. But it doesn't show you how much it's going to produce. Oh, it showed up there for a split second. Wait, where was it? So not away. Feedback, playback. There we go. Quarter speed. There we go, right there. So I'm assuming you hover over this and it will tell you how much you produce, which is nice. So each facility produces 23,500 meters cubed of water? So see, I thought I turned the green thing off. I thought for a second I could see through my forehead. Okay. Maybe some of those need to be changed. Once again, we're working at quarter speed here, just so we don't miss anything. Apparently we're playing as Canada at the moment. What's your tax? You can change that. Nice. This should actually be very different. In Canada, we produce way more water than we produce pretty much exactly what we need because we have like the largest supply of water in the world, I think. Production versus consumption around the world. Okay. Actually, yeah, that would make sense. The Americans would produce more water. This shows you how much they have available after production minus consumption. So it looks like everything's in meters cubed. Okay. So here's the organization stuff. Let's actually let's pause this right here. So we join and create intergovernmental organizations. Okay, so international organizations contribute 1.5 billion. Oh, okay. That's technically not how NATO works. And there's definitely more than 6 members in NATO. And there's a thing, right? Like, for example, with NATO, being someone who was in the military, France, for example, though a member of NATO, is not under NATO command. Meaning, France, for example, is completely autonomous within NATO itself. Unlike the Canadian forces, the American, German, and English, or even the Spanish or the Turks, or the Italians, or the Danes, the Belgians, or even the Netherlands. Those countries will place troops under the command of whoever is in charge of NATO at the time, whoever the Supreme Commander is at that time, at that juncture. It rotates out. I think right now it's a Canadian. Might not be a Canadian anymore. But yeah, then your troops are under... You pay for your own troops. You pay for, all the stuff you have to do. But the catch-22 there is that those troops are then under NATO command. France does not contribute troops to command. They fall under all the other treaty rules and regulations. Like, for example, I think it's Article 42. Attack on any member of NATO is accepted as an attack on all members of NATO. I think it's 42, 47. I think it's in the 40s. Things like that. Like they fall under everything other than the military command structure of NATO, for example. Organization objective reward. Interesting. So here it says increase military power by 5.53%. So I'm assuming you join these organizations and you contribute to the organization, and as long as it gets its yearly objective, you get a bonus, you get a reward. So it's kind of gamifying a little bit of organizations to make you do them, I'm assuming. Like it gives you maybe boosts or bonuses. There it is right there. So apparently if you hit objectives reward, rank 1 reward is 0.06% of GDP. I wonder what that means. Like you get a bonus to your GDP? Maybe? I'm assuming there's a option somewhere where you can modify how much you can contribute to these organizations. Because like it's saying, hey, we want to increase our military power by 5.53%. But here's the treasury, here's the members. Does this count towards everybody's military capacity? So if the Americans build a new supercarrier, Germany builds a couple more, maybe a couple hundred tanks, Canada gets, 20,000 more troops. Spain gets a couple more fighter aircraft. England builds some more, frigates and destroyers. The Netherlands gets a couple more aircraft and helicopters, and then, the freaky dicky Dutch do their own thing. Get some, armored clogs or something. Does that count towards that 5.53? Or is it you to contribute and then this treasury number? This is something I would like to explain a little bit better. Like, what is this reward thing going on here? It's very interesting. Group of 5 with 5 eyes. So here is my first thing where I look at this and go, oh, this is definitely early alpha. This is not a real, this is not, I do not, if this is how warfare is in the game, yeah, no. I think this might be, I think you should be able to, yeah. I like the models. The models are good looking. I would prefer the option to go between 3D models and NATO tickers. That will be interesting. In addition, having to move troops through different regions is interesting. But yeah, that looked very. This is just something moving across the map at the moment. Because it looks like an F-22 from Iran dropping a JDAM in Iraq to hit somewhere in the west coast of Israel. This is not a real-time battle. To me, a real-time battle is something that, like, actually, like, if you have 2 units connecting on the map, for example, I would like it then to pause the game, zoom into the battle, a la Superpower 3. But as of like something like Total War or even like Supreme Ruler, where you actually have the battlefield and actually command and control your units, move your units around the map, even if it's a simple 2D map, that you can go, or even a simple 3D map with generic 3D, units where you just click and move them, and they will move to that location. And they'll do their own little attack, defend, or evade, or whatever. And you can actually do your actual combat that way. Right now, if you just get it, Army Group A versus Army Group B, and they just hit the map, there's a little explosion icon, like it is now in Power Revolution. To me, that always breaks my immersion, because I'm like, well, I'm moving 35,000 troops into this area. How am I not able to actually do the fighting myself? Like, this is just ridiculous. But I think that's one of the things that hopefully I'm going to say he, I think it's a he, works on when it comes to this. So I think this is the diplomatic relations. Make diplomatic relation with every country. So I'm assuming we switch that around. English not the first language, I'm assuming. You can modify or change your diplomatic relations with any country in the game. I wouldn't say in the world, say in the game. So you might click a country. There we go. So you can give them aid, you can ask them for aid, you can offer them a trade deal, offer a arms deal, sign a generic agreement, disable an agreement, or request intel on, I'm guessing, their country or whatever. So this is between France and Israel, so overall population, cool. Military power, interesting, okay. And then overall world influence. So you can criticize one of their actions or support. We're Israel, so I'm assuming this is all, like, these are supposed to be like over here, but they're just showing up in the wrong spot, maybe? Because it would be interesting if it's support, criticize, support/criticize. You click it, it selects your option that you can support or criticize, or even hit support, and it'll show you the different things that you can support that they're trying to do, or criticize, vice versa. Or even have it so that if another country does something, just like it does in Supreme Ruler Ultimate, it will pop up, and you can actually hit support or criticize live. That would be good. Mutual organizations, okay. And click active agreements and it'll show whatever it is. Shows your overall ratings, what they are, good or bad. Nice. That's okay. So world influence, I think, is going to be a main component of this game. I like this. This I like actually quite a lot. I'm assuming you can research laws or change laws associated with research and then change your budget. So science, engineering, health, media, military, and space. Already better than Power and Revolution. And a few other games are there. So it shows you how many scientists you have, how many free scientists you have, how many engineers you have, and free engineers. Research on. Let's go for. So, do you spend, I'm assuming, scientists and engineers on researching things? Does he did they click on them, or do they just scroll down and show different ones, like health sciences? So it looks like everything's on a tier 1 to 5. You start with a tier 1 automatically, and you probably have to go to 2, 3, 4, and then 5. Oh, he just hovered over. Required technologies, military science technology 4. Okay. I was hoping that they would hover over one of the other ones there. No. 5G, Wi-Fi, fiber internet. Okay. I am trying to watch like a hawk to see if the mouse goes over one of the options, so I can immediately select it. So obviously the saying for the game, your country, your rules. It's nice. What we're going to do next is we're going to look at some of the screenshots in the game. So we're going to just close that up and bring Steam over here. Okay, I'm assuming that's just the frame rate. So we got our generic world map here. I like it. Looks like just like something from Google Earth. Cool. Norway, Sweden, Finland. Very nice. Option number 2. So this is just showing, I'm assuming, like an airstrike or something like that. Like I said, I hope this gets worked on, because this to me is not a real-time battle. If you're just sending an icon over to move another icon over to do an animation, like actually being able to control your units, have actual conflict and actual fights, having a big front, moving your units, that to me is real-time battle. This to me, or even like it is in Superpower 2 or Superpower 3 even, and in Power and Revolution, it seems so limited to me. That's interesting. And I want to go back. Assuming that's where the mouse was at the time the picture was taken. So I'm assuming that's like a Gripen or something. These are British aircraft, Japanese, Russian, French, possibly Israeli, German, Canadian. Okay, so I'm assuming. I like this one. This is actually pretty cool. If you buy an aircraft, it will have your skin on the map, which is kind of cool. So every unit will have theoretically every country's skin or generic skin. What is this? This is security. Can I make this bigger? Nope. Darn it. So manpower facility. So this is criminal population, police, fire, and prisons. Okay, so this is law. So prisons built 55, in progress 0, police cases. So I guess how many cases are currently ongoing are 0. How many fire cases? So this isn't like policing then. This is all fire and police. So emergency services, but then there's no ambulance. I don't know how the two fall in place, but big police departments, small police departments. Small fire, big fire in the prisons. Okay. Then you can go to laws. Actually, this is showing. If you have the manpower, would it just show this information, maybe? So laws, so like you click on it, yeah, there you go. 22 years in prison, active for child abuse. Okay. I'm assuming you can click that and change it to increase it if you wanted to, or like reduce it. Not that, but education. Well, actually, yeah, it's what it was called. It's just security. So to me, security is not fire. To me, security is police and any internal investigative units. So for Canada, security would be your provincial police and then your federal police. So in Ontario, we have the Ontario Provincial Police and then a local police. And then we have, so for example, here in my town, or we'll say, for example, where I'm from in Toronto, you have the Toronto Police Service, the Ontario Police Service, or the Ontario Provincial Police Service, and then the RCMP. So you have 3 layers of policing. To me, that's security. RCMP in some areas does all 3. In some areas, it is just major investigations, things like that. Same with the OPP as well, if there's no local. Honestly, I think that should be the thing where it should show like a federal police force, a regional police force, and then local police force, and then have that broken down. Not police and fire. Fire is more emergency services. So education, so it shows how many young seats. I guess how many, classroom slots are available. Adolescent seats, kids seats, and adults. Okay, that's because nursing. Well, that'd be kids. Elementary would be young. High school would be, I guess, adolescents, and then adults would be colleges and universities, and then engineering's, science universities, social. Okay. Resource statistics. We saw this one already. So this shows how many raw materials and goods you produce, and then how much you obviously consume. Seen this, so yeah, it shows import, export amount you produce, you consume. I'm assuming like things like export and things like that are not showing up right now. So I'm assuming this would be a negative 20. Oh, right there, yeah, negative, yeah, or negative 12, yeah. Shows how much you're taxing it. So I'm assuming the higher the tax rate, the lower the consumption within your country is. So basically, if you're running low on stuff, you tax it to get just that little extra bit. So I'm assuming when it says raw materials in deficit 7, it's showing you that there's currently 7 things that you're missing. And now that I look at it, it's 1, 2, 3. There you go. Then you go to goods, and it's probably the one thing will be negative. Or if you click it, it might take you even to that, I'm hoping. Here we go. Resource. So it's showing us 7 are in deficit. So there's 1. Oh, because we're in goods. We're in the goods section. Haha. And there's only 1 in negative. Okay, there you go. Mineral water. Mineral water? I guess it's like bottled water, I'm assuming. Okay. GDP ranking around the world, population, you pick the country. So this is the top, apparently top 9 GDP countries in the world. So we all know Syria's top 9. Definitely top 9. Obviously, work in progress. I like it. So far, so good. So here's the options again. So you can join all the different organizations. You can start a new one. This is transportation. So this shows you currently facilities you have. Active international lines, nice. So it shows you all the international lines you have. Daily passengers, so it shows you right here. They're actually, I don't know what the negative here would be. Like you have people leaving the country, and you have people coming into the country, maybe. But it's seats. Oh, seats. Okay. So here we're 1.7 million seats short of city transportation. So I'm assuming if you go into Maybe international? Airports? Yeah, like that's weird because this is all showing international stuff. City seats to me is like your local, like for us, it's our GO trains. And, you know, the local bus routes and things like that. Intercity, which is traveling from city to city, okay. And international. Huh. Because these are all international. So I'm assuming maybe lines is what is. Here we go. Okay, yeah. So lines is the basically takes care of the other two. So right now in city and inner city, they've only got like 200-300 grand. Okay. So you can build metro lines, train lines, bus lines. Okay. The information here is just so readily available, easy to understand, and all that stuff. I like this already way more than Power and Revolution. So here it shows you your short ICU beds. Okay, let's build more ICU beds. Health status. In legislation to pills subsidize. Okay. Now, the thing is, I hope this is modelable because there's definitely certain laws that should be counterproductive. Like, not every country, because you're basically saying these are the only laws you can put in the game or can enact here. Like, for example, here in Canada, we have universal healthcare. So, universal healthcare should be one of these things, not health insurance. Because I don't have health insurance. I can get health insurance, but as a Canadian, I have universal health care. My taxes pay for my health care. My neighbors' taxes pay for my health care. My taxes pay for my neighbor's health care. So maybe something like universal health care. I'm going to hope that this game is also very moddable. If it is, oh, the amount of like just lists of laws that people will do. Be like, hey, this is a, you know, if you want to become, here is the, the health department laws and things like that. That'll be very interesting. Very interesting. I also have no clue how to make games like this, so whatever. It's media internet users percentage, and average internet speed. Okay, that's nice. So telephone connections, internet connections, mobile internet, Wi-Fi internet. Cool. So I'm assuming when you hit deploy, it just ticks up, maybe? That I would have to try to figure out how that works. Once again, so here's the research tree. Research technology 15, total score, blah, blah, blah. Which we've already seen. Welfare. Here we go. Okay. So welfare laws, facilities, and manpower. So most people will call this social, the social tab, but here this is welfare status. So incapable population. I don't know exactly what incapable population means, like people that are not able to work. Unemployment rate, unemployed population is different than incapable. So I think incapable is anyone over the age of, say, 65 and anyone under the age of 18. And then anyone who's, on disability or something, maybe. Elderly class, here you go. Demand exists. Woman cases, kids cases, homeless cases, addiction cases. Welfare care school. Okay. Don't quite understand what women cases are. Kids cases, homeless cases. Here's a security score, but it's education. So, game is alpha. I'm assuming this is click and drag. Doctor's wage. You can change doctor's wage. Nice. Well, we're almost there. So here we go. Each facility contains 500 hospital beds, 50 ICU beds, and 20 mental beds. Alright, so people that are having like mental breakdowns and stuff like that. Okay. Shows you when it's going to finish, how many doctors are required, how many nurses are required, how many builders to build it are required, and the overall cost, and if you build 11. Now, I wish it would also show what the calculated amount would be, how many beds it would be adding, how many hospital beds, ICU beds, and all that stuff. Just like, even like just like right here. Security status, so police and fire. Then your overall budget. Of course, it's going to be that one of those last pages. So it shows your revenue. I'm assuming, as you can see, it's mostly negative here than positives here. I'm assuming that's that's the zero line right there. I can't really see, but I think it's zero. Maybe that's zero. Somewhere in here is zero. But it shows like, yeah, because you can see here, right, this is negative 21. But then this, just above it, is positive 43 billion, so. But yeah, so it's showing you basically if you've made money or lost money in a department, which is nice. I like that. That is so much more obvious than sometimes the very cryptic information of Power and Revolution, where you look at it and you're like, I don't understand. I'm changing a law, but the text is in red, therefore I'm losing money, but then it says I'm gaining money, but it's in red, but everyone likes it. Why is it? This is just simple. Blue, you make money. Red, you've lost money. Such a simple law. Just that alone would change Power and Revolution to me a lot. Then here it just shows your expenses, how much money you're spending, which is nice. I kind of wish they showed your income in a previous one, but... So that is the screenshot. So let's look here. Build facilities, modify laws, increase and monitor your manpower. So you can control entire country's economy, health, security, housing, transportation, technology, media, welfare, or your social services, environment, education, entertainment and sports, and tourism. Resources and trade. Produce and trade resources to fulfill the demands of your population, increase revenue. Okay. Trade with every country, lift embargoes, which is nice. Control every resource tax rate and income, which is good. Increase your gross domestic product. Nice. Develop your army, produce weapons, missiles, and a variety of different military units. Set a solid defense infrastructure of anti-air, anti-missile radars, and more. Didn't see anything that showed anything about that. Build new bases, missile silos, and military factories. Interesting. Train and monitor your army soldiers. Intelligence networks for... Obviously, this is the spy department. Infiltrate spies and agencies. Cool. Hack and spy on countries. Secret attacks on enemy countries to prevent from arming, or more so, preemptive strikes. Like how the Americans back in the 90s would always just do cruise missile strikes randomly on a Thursday on a country to prevent them from, doing whatever. Diplomacy and wars. Obviously, interact, meet, and war every country. Okay. Appoint official meeting with other countries. Ask and give economic aid. Make arms deals. Increase your global influence. Okay. Sign military, diplomatic, and trade agreements. Fight wars in real time. That, I think, is going to be the hardest part of this game, is pulling that off so far from what I've seen. Bomb countries with ballistic missiles, nuclear missiles, and biochemicals. Interesting. Conquer regions and annex countries. I'm assuming that also means just sections of countries as well, I'm hoping. Sign/push a peace agreement. Join and create organizations. Monitor and improve relations. Holy crap, there's a lot of stuff you can do in this game already. Theoretically. Organizations. Monitor and improve relations with other countries. Monitor relations with you. Monitor your relations with the UN. Holy smokes. More than 200 different technologies to research. Each technology unlocks a new feature and bonuses. That's nice. The bonuses part. Because I don't understand how research works in Power and Revolution. I unlock it, but then it's like, do you want to refuse or accept? It's like, I don't know what I'm doing. If I'm refusing, I'm refusing it to the public, but does that mean all the public? Or am I refusing to let it be public outside of our country? I don't know. Deployment of internet connection technologies. That's so. I'm assuming then you hit deploy, and it ticks up slowly. Space technologies and missions. Build universities. You always saw that. You build schools and stuff like that. Control countries that help. Control country and help other countries in time of crises. Tsunamis, earthquakes, heat waves, tornadoes, pandemics of viruses. Countries, bankruptcy, and global warming. So I'm assuming we can lend money to countries and put austerity measures in place so that they pay us back. This doesn't happen. That'll be interesting to see how they putting that into the game. Play your country on different scenarios. So world scenario, World War III, sandbox, which would be nice, and then pandemic. There we go. World 3D map, real country data, 220 countries playable, 74 songs and soundtrack, nice. And then more to be announced. Well, that's nice. So right now it's TBD. Or to be A in this case, to be announced, or to be determined. How much is it going to cost? We'll have to find out. So far, I'm liking what I'm seeing. Couple things obviously that I'm not currently fond of, knowing that what I'm saying, take as a grain of salt, game is still obviously in, development. The actual combat, the actual warfare, don't like the way it looks. Like, we only see like 3 seconds of it, so we'll have to see how that ends up. Hopefully in some future information. All this stuff here, I like the way it is. I like how it looks, how it feels. More laws and things like that would be nice. One thing I noticed as a caveat, nowhere in here does it show your support rating or anything. Like, I'm assuming the game just assumes you're going to stay in power. There you go. You are the democratically elected ruler of insert name of country, say the United States, and the theory is that you just keep getting reelected until you want to stop playing, I guess. Because I didn't see anything about, getting reelected. Or not. I'm noticing a significant lack of diplomatic anything. Like, there's no re-elections, there's no elections, there's no showing what your support is in the country, whether you're at a 51% on the polls or a 900 or a 90 on the polls. You don't know. Maybe that's not in the game. I don't know. I just noticed right now, elections aren't in, theoretically, even though like democratic countries are technically the thing. Because we saw for the NATO image. You had to be a diplomatic country to be a member of NATO. But, yeah, you don't do diplomacy. Or, like elections. I don't know. Democracy. I don't know. We'll see. See how this works out. See what this is going to turn into. I've added it to my wish list because I'm going to keep an eye on it. Hope you do too. And I'll see you next time. Bye.